The American people may never know, like really know, what was said, what was revealed, what was asked, and what was answered today within the four walls of a courthouse conference room in Tallahassee, Florida. And therein lies the problem. Because for the second time in 2 days, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche blurred the lines between his old job and his new one, with his role at the Justice Department on one hand and his former role as Donald Trump's personal attorney on the other. Blanche departed his interview with Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, a short time ago. Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney, David Oscar Marcus, said that at no point over the last 2 days did his client, Maxwell, refuse to answer a question. But here again, we have to take his word for it. It's not just that the rest of us are without any transcripts or recordings or witnesses in the course of the Trump administration's effort at fact-finding, if that's what we're calling it. It's that it also feels like we're without any reliable narrators. After all, Donald Trump, a man with a pre-existing adversarial relationship with the truth and the press, appears to be growing less and less forthright on this topic by the day. Remember when the Wall Street Journal exactly 1 week ago today reported that Trump sketched, scribbled, and signed a letter for inclusion in Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday book? Trump's reaction? He said it was fake. He sued the publication, along with a number of individuals, including Rupert Murdoch. But today, the New York Times is reporting this, quote, Trump's name appeared on a contributor list for a book celebrating Epstein's birthday, evidence that he participated in the collection, even as he denied that he signed a sexually suggestive note and drawing, end quote. Now, again, these stories are not suggesting or providing evidence that Donald Trump committed crimes or engaged in illegal conduct. He's denied every allegation. But Democrats and Republicans alike, even some of Donald Trump's own most devoted supporters and backers, have growing questions about the Epstein story and Trump's transparency on it. Just listen to how he answered this question.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell if
it's something I haven't thought about. It's really something. It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
That was weird. I suppose we'll just chalk it up to another plot point in a story that is now completely beyond and outside of Trump's ability to produce and control, which is new for him. Just look at what advocates flew over Tallahassee, Florida today. A banner that reads, quote, Trump and Bondi are protecting predators, end quote. That's where we start today with some of our favorite reporters and friends. Investigative reporter for the Miami Herald, Julie K. Brown, is here. She is also the author of Perversion of Justice, the Jeffrey Epstein story. Also joining us today, former top official at the Department of Justice, MSNBC legal analyst Andrew Weissman's here. And Tim Miller joins us, host of the Bulwark podcast and an MSNBC political analyst. Let me start with you, Andrew Weissman, and 2 days of meetings between Todd Blanche and Ghislaine Maxwell. What is going on, and what are we likely to learn about whatever has happened in that room?
So first, I want to make sure people understand that when her attorney goes out to speak and says, you know, she answered every question and she never asserted a privilege, that may be true, but that is sort of half the story. One, she is not speaking for free. She is obviously hoping for a pardon, a commutation, or at least a significant reduction in sentence. But also, you can be, I would say, almost 100% sure that she already has an agreement with the government. It's called a proffer agreement. It's colloquially known as a queen for a day agreement. And that is an agreement where the prosecutor says, I want to hear what your client has to say, but agrees to give a form of immunity with respect to the use of that in any direct way against the particular witness. And so the reason, what I read into what David Marcus is saying, is the reason she wasn't asserting a privilege is that she doesn't need to. She already has that form of immunity in connection with yesterday and today's sessions with Todd Blanche.
And Andrew, how bizarre is it for the Deputy Attorney General, who's supposed to be running the Department of Justice, to spend 2 days in Tallahassee with Ghislaine Maxwell?
It is unheard of. It does not happen. And you know what? Add one more thing. It doesn't happen that the Deputy Attorney General, the number 2 person in the Department of Justice, would engage in this proffer session. But even more so, where are the career agents and prosecutors? Why aren't the career prosecutors from the Southern District of New York in on this? They're the ones who know the evidence inside out. They actually tried Ghislaine Maxwell. They actually have investigated her and Jeffrey Epstein. So you really have to wonder what's going on here. There's no way for Todd Blanche to know all of the facts and to be able to test what she is saying. And so, one thing I am looking for is whether this sort of ends up biting them. If they try and cooperate her based on a 2-day proffer by somebody in the Department of Justice who doesn't know the case, this could really reek of a cover-up. And in addition to the idea of giving somebody who has a convicted child predator a break at sentencing. I mean, as Julie knows, better than anyone here, the nature of the crimes that she has been convicted of are horrendous. And before you would cooperate somebody like that, you need to be sure they are telling the truth, and you need to be sure they're giving up information that is worth it. Otherwise, it's the height of irresponsibility for a prosecutor to engage in that kind of conduct.
Julie, the voices of the victims and survivors of Epstein and Maxwell have populated, are back to the fore. And I think of you as sort of the foremost journalist on this story. But I wonder, before I play their interviews, if you could just tell me what you know from your reporting to be their degree of being re-traumatized by all of this back in the news, not because anybody in the Trump administration got there and said, we're going to finally deliver justice to Epstein and Maxwell's victims. If they said that, I haven't been able to find it. But because this is a political scandal that Trump is trying to manage at the highest levels of government.
Well, they look at this not only as, of course, a re-traumatization of everything that they've already been through, but also another betrayal, really, because this almost seems like the sweetheart deal 2.0, in that there's some kind of arrangement, as Andrew mentioned, in order for them to even sit down and speak with her. And the danger of this is that you're dealing with the devil here in the victims' minds, because this woman wasn't just his accomplice to many of these victims. She was the mastermind that created the whole template for how he went about operating, in that she went with a chauffeur, his chauffeur, from spa to school to gym to recruit, to just find young girls that were his type and to persuade them to come and give a wealthy man a massage, which we now know weren't massages at all. And once they were in, it was hard to get out, because the promises that they made, they kept dangling in front of these women who came often from, from foster homes or from situations where they didn't have money, they were vulnerable, promising them they were going to, for example, send them to college or get them into fashion school or help them become a model. And then when it seemed like that wasn't happening, then saying, if you leave now, we're going to destroy any chance you have of getting into college or going to modeling school. We have the power, we have people. And he dangled all these wealthy people that he knew right in front of them, photographs in his various residences of him pictured with very powerful people. So they were trapped, and she started that whole pyramid scheme, so to speak, that entrapped them.